Are you tired of waiting for life to happen to you? I was too. Always waiting for someone or something to save me. People told me, don't worry, your time will come. But it didn't. And I realized it wouldn't until I took control. So in this video, I want to change the mindset shift that completely changed my 20s. How I stopped waiting for things to happen and took control of my own life. Here is a sneak peek at today's chapters. These are the key topics I'll be diving into in this video. So let's begin with this mindset shift. And I realized that if I summarize it, the idea sounds something like this. Be your own savior. For a very long time, I always blamed external circumstances for where I was in life. I blamed my country, I blamed my school, I blamed my teachers. I just wanted to find a person who was to blame, who could bear all the responsibilities. And that person could never be me. Obviously. You know, for a very long time, I just kept expecting someone or something to save me. I was waiting for someone or something to come in and save my whole life and, delete all of my worries. But in fact, I had to create all of that. That person had to be me. There will always be people who are more fortunate, who were born into more opportunities than I was. People who are smarter, more athletic, more eloquent. People who speak English better than I do. But instead of focusing on what other people had and what I didn't have, I recognized that I still had control over my own actions and the power to shape my outcomes. Instead of being stuck in this victim mode, blaming other people, always complaining, I shifted my mindset to take responsibility over my actions, over my life. I stopped waiting for life to happen and started being proactive. I began planning, taking action, and saving for my future. If you really think about it, it's actually extremely common for people to blame political or sociological problems without looking at their own behavior. They give up at the first sign of failure and they choose to just go with the flow. People who complain a lot, they honestly don't want results. They just want an excuse not to take action. And so that's why when I discovered this mindset shift for myself, I realized that I didn't have to wait for the right moment to do something. I had to make the right moment happen for me. And that's when everything started to change. Yes, becoming your own savior is all about taking responsibility for your life. However, it is not about refusing help. It is not about isolating yourself. I honestly don't believe in going full monk mode, where you cut yourself off from the world and do everything alone to achieve success. I believe that there is strength in accepting help and seeking support when this thing aligns with your core values. When I finished high school and I went to college, for some time I worked as a teacher of English to kids. And at the beginning, I really liked that job. It was fulfilling, I enjoyed it, but then the more I started thinking about my future, like what I actually wanted to do, after I graduated from college, I realized that was not it. And the more I thought about it, the more I actually realized that I wanted to become a YouTuber. I wanted to start my own channel, and I wanted to start my own channel in English, even though I'm not a native English speaker. And 7 years ago, my English was a lot worse. But I was like, why not? This is actually what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to quit teaching and I wanted to start creating videos online. And as you guys probably guessed correctly, there were a lot of excuses that I created for myself to be stuck in this victim mode. English isn't my native language. I don't even know how to film videos. I don't even have a camera. I don't have any experience. I don't even know how to start a YouTube channel. A lot of excuses, blaming like the external circumstances. I wish I was born in the United States of America instead of in Russia, because this way I would be a native English speaker. And so my values were growth, ambition, and creativity. I knew that I wanted to grow professionally speaking. I was pretty ambitious and I wanted my job to be creative. So what I had to do was align my actions with my values. And before you think that I quit teaching after a day and that I became a successful YouTuber in 3 days, unfortunately, it was not the case. I had to take small steps and learn a lot of skills. At the beginning, I was still a college student. I still had my job, but I was trying to move to teaching online so that I would have more time to dedicate to learning more about YouTube videos, like how to create YouTube videos, how to edit YouTube YouTube videos, stuff like that. And yes, at the beginning, I didn't have a camera. I was filming everything on my phone, but still, I wanted to become a YouTuber. And I had to take small steps to align my values, creativity, growth with my actions. And yes, now I'm a YouTuber, but I still have to work on every single video to make sure that every single video performs well, that it has beautiful thumbnails, that you guys actually like the content I produce. Like, it's one thing becoming a YouTuber and a different thing staying a YouTuber, like continuing to produce YouTube videos. Now let's move on and talk about my next situation, my financial struggles. So I remember when I was in college, I always felt like I was never going to become financially secure because everything was so expensive. Rent was expensive, groceries, and obviously I didn't make enough money. I was blaming my landlord because my rent was really expensive and I couldn't really afford that. And so then if we do a little value check, my values were stability, security, and independence. I knew that I wanted to live separately from my parents, and I already did because I lived in a completely different city. But other things like stability and security, I definitely did not feel very stable and secure because every single paycheck I would get, I would spend all of it. Just like that. And so now, again, I had to start aligning my values with my actions. If financial security, if financial stability is your value, you have to make sure you know how you spend your money, how you make your money, and how you save and invest. It should be a crucial part of your life. And so I remember at that time, my priority became building an emergency fund instead of just spending all of my money. Because again, one of my values was independence, stability, security, and an emergency fund can give you a lot of stability, a lot of security when you have to move abroad, when you get sick, when something happens. And when it came to looking for ways to increase my income, I could start learning skills that could lead to me getting a higher paying job. Like skills that people would pay more for. But of course that involves taking action, and I know that it's so much easier to make excuses, to complain, not do anything, than start taking action. Now let's talk about my health journey. And the situation that I was in was I wasn't really happy with the way I was eating, my diet in general. I was also too bored to go to the gym, and because of that I wasn't exercising at all, even though my values were my health, self-care, and discipline. And obviously I was saying that I didn't have enough time, that I was a full-time student, that I had to do my homework, and that I had to go work. But then I decided to align my actions with my values, and I started practicing yoga at home. Just 20 minutes. It was free because I could use YouTube, so I didn't have to spend any additional money. And recently you guys know that I started a new sport, bouldering, so I really tapped into this value of mine, my health and my fitness journey. Now let's talk about the next situation, which is connected to my relationships. I remember in the past I felt stuck and I was always blaming the other person for not meeting my needs and for not treating me right. I was in a relationship with a person who didn't want to get married, who didn't want to have kids, even though it was one of my biggest values. I know that communication was important to me, but the problem was every single time I would talk to that person, it would be the same conversation. They would tell me their values, I would tell them my values, and they just wouldn't align. And so in that case, the best thing I could do was distance myself from those types of relationships. But I'm not gonna lie here and say that it was easy, because it wasn't. As for my mental health, my situation was that I always felt very stressed and overwhelmed, but I always blamed all of my external circumstances, like my university, that I had a lot of classes, that I had to wake up very early, and that I just didn't have enough time for myself, even though my values were peace of mind, balance, and priorities. I knew that meditation and journaling and therapy are such amazing things, but I never tried anything. I would just complain and move on with my day and not trying anything at the end. And that's why I think right now I talk so much about true self-care, setting clear boundaries with people, with work, with social media, creating priorities and delegating responsibilities. Because those small things over time really help me feel more present and less anxious. I really want this mindset shift, be your own savior, not to isolate you from other people. And that's why I want to talk about Kizuna right now. And I really hope I'm pronouncing this word correctly. Kizuna is a Japanese philosophy that highlights the importance of bonds between people. We're all connected and interconnected, connected and we're not meant to walk our paths entirely alone. So that's why I don't want you to isolate yourself. I don't want you to go into this full monk mode. Yes, personal responsibility is key, but it doesn't mean cutting yourself off from all the support that others are giving you. There will always be people on your journey, family, friends, mentors, or even strangers who help guide you, offer advice, or simply encourage you along the way. These connections are essential to your growth and success, and recognizing that you don't have to do everything yourself is a vital part of becoming your own savior. I really think that being close to others and allowing them to be a part of your journey is a sign of strength, not weakness. And so this is how we move on to the final part of our video. Who can help me here? In each situation, instead of isolating yourself or trying to do everything alone, just ask yourself this question: who or what can help me here? This can really shift your mindset from monk mode to acknowledging that there are so many amazing people, so many amazing resources that can help you. So this is what I wrote for all of my situations that I mentioned earlier in this video. As for my career, obviously a coach could help me, but at that time I didn't make enough money to afford like a coach. And so what I did, I started watching a lot of YouTube videos on how to become a YouTuber. I knew that that resource could play a very important role in my journey. For my financial struggles, obviously what helped me a lot were books about personal finances and also YouTube videos. As for my health, definitely joining some group classes, because when I joined a group class, I felt like I had to go. You know, I already booked my spot, so I had to go. And also having a person I could go with, like to the gym, for example, asking my friend, oh, do you want to go to the gym with me? Because this way I also had to go. I couldn't be just like, I'm not gonna go, you can go by yourself. So my relationship situation, definitely a therapist, taking courses on relationships, listening to people who have built amazing relationships online. As for my mental health, I also wrote down therapist, journaling, meditation. If you can't afford to pay a therapist, a life coach, a financial guru, read books, educate yourself, watch YouTube videos, journal, meditate. There are so many other things that can help you on your journey. So before we wrap up this video, I wanted to give you homework. Think about an area in your life where you've been feeling stuck and write down who or what you're blaming for it. Then ask yourself what really matters to you in this situation and write down all of your core values. Based on those values, create a list of small actions that you can start taking now. And also don't forget to write down a person or maybe a resource that can help give advice or maybe just motivation. So I really hope this video was useful. I really hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Today I already talked a little bit about my journey with my finances, but if you want to see my ultimate money glow up guide, I highly recommend checking out this video right here. Just click right here and keep on watching.